All right, guys, in this video, we're going to learn how to wholesale a house with a mortgage. Coming up. Okay, so I get this a lot. Dave, how do you wholesale a house that has a mortgage on it? All right. And at first thought, those may think, that may make it complicated, right, Dave? And the answer is no, not at all. It's actually quite simple. You can wholesale a house with a mortgage. You can even have a second mortgage. The seller, in fact, can have liens. They can have judgments easily. All that stuff is easy to get over as long as your offer is higher than all of those sums combined. So if they just have a mortgage and no other problems, right? And your offer is, let's say, $150 and they owe $120, well, they're essentially going to walk away at close when you buy it. And you may not even be the one to buy it, right? You may be wholesaling it, right? You can double close or assign, whatever. Somebody else buys it, but the seller walks away with that 30 grand in this scenario. You pay $150, they owe $120. Now, if they have more than a mortgage or a second mortgage, and again, other things, something else that's tied to it, maybe a lien from a contractor or a roofer or something like that, or maybe they have a lien with their local city sewer or water company, or back taxes. Again, could be a judgment from a bankruptcy or, an old lawsuit. Doesn't matter. All of those things can be in there, and you can still wholesale a deal around them as long as you're above it. Now, if you're not above that number, regardless if it's a bunch of things or one, let's say we're going back to just the mortgage here. All right. They have a mortgage for $120. And in this scenario, instead of me offering $150, I offer $110. We can still do this deal, but they're going to have to bring $10,000 to sell the house to me at the closing table. So as long as the seller is aware that the offer you're making is actually below all the debts that they've acquired on this property, and they're willing to bring money, you can still do the deal. So there is so many different ways to wholesale a property that has a mortgage or has liens or has title issues, right? We do this all the time. We can typically work around this stuff. Now, why would somebody want to sell a house, let's say, and bring $10,000 to close? They are so motivated to get this off of their books. Sometimes they have 2 or they have 3 properties and this one's vacant. They could be a tired landlord. It just depends, right? And I've actually had sellers bring as much as $40,000 to the table to sell me a trashed property that my offer was 40 grand below what they owed. In fact, that happened twice in the same month one time, both 40 grand. So people are motivated to get rid of this big mortgage. These mortgages were $400,000 and $500,000. So 40 grand to get rid of the mortgage in some cases makes sense. Okay. So if your offer is above the mortgage, then it just gets paid at close. The title company or the closing attorney is going to handle all of this for you. Don't overthink it. The proceeds from what's left over are going to go to the seller. Now, if your offer is below what's owed, so the mortgage is $120 and you're at $110, they're going to have to bring that $10,000 into closing. But if they are motivated enough, they will, and the deal can still get done. So don't overthink properties that have mortgages or back taxes. In fact, I like properties that have back taxes because there's typically some reason that the property is distressed or the owner is distressed if the taxes aren't getting paid. And the cool thing about buying properties that have back taxes is the taxes get paid. So this is one way that investors are really helping out the local schools in the community, is they're paying taxes on properties that hadn't had the taxes collected on. The owners of those properties got into a hardship for whatever reason, and they weren't able to pay those taxes. So when we go buy those properties, they get paid and they get caught up, right? So there's so many advantages of being an investor and helping the community and wholesaling as well, helping people out, creating win-win scenarios. So how to wholesale a house with a mortgage, guys? The simple answer is it's not that much different than if it didn't have a mortgage. You just have to have an offer that's going to be equal or above for the seller to not bring any money to the table. And if it's below that number, then they're going to have to bring money to the table. And that's it. That's the entire answer. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. And don't forget, check out discountpropertyinvestor.com for tons of resources, free courses, and even a free offer generator. Signing off.